Okay, so here we are with the Deltarune chapters 1 to 4 full armors tier list. This is going to cover every single armor in the game, all 28 of them. This is an updated version of my previous video covering chapter 1 and 2's best armor pieces, from worst to best, so we'll be doing the same thing here. I have everything set up in 5 different tiers. The worst tier would be chapter 1 slot fillers, obviously just armors in chapter 1 that you just put on because there's nothing else to put on, or just anything that's like only good at when one instance, stuff that you're not going to use ever other than one fight, and even then you might not use it. Can be useful or rather good, you know, just stuff that's decent, stuff that can be used, and it definitely has much better alternatives, but it'll be useful when its time is here. Overall useful and powerful. This is just your stuff that's like strong, good armor, stuff you definitely want to get, stuff that's really good, stuff that you want to pick up, right? Then we have crazy busted, Unk still got it. This is going to cover our armors that are really good and may seem like they're only good in one place, but are actually really good in everywhere else, or just in the future. And finally, we have the best of the best. This is going to cover my top, I believe, 4 armor pieces in the entire game. So let's go. Let's start off with the worst armor piece in the game, which is obviously the Amber card. The Amber card can be bought from Sham or Rules for 100, and it only gives 1 defense. This is your king of slot fillers in chapter 1. This is just because in chapter 1 you only get 3 armor pieces that do 2 defense, so that leaves 3 free slots. Depending on how you distributed the armor, you're still gonna have 3 free slots before you play Jevil. So yeah, you're gonna need 3 Amber cards pretty much, and there you go. They're cheap, they're pretty much useless, they only add 1 defense, and they get outclassed immediately the next chapter, so you don't even need to pick them up if you're that good at the game. Next up, we have the Dice Brace. The Dice Brace, it's just 2 defense. It's the exact same situation. It's a slot filler. It is quite literally just the glow wrist, but one of a kind, right? It's 2 defense. You're going to use it in the Jevil fight. You're going to probably use it in the King fight. I mean, yeah. It's going to help for that 1 30-minute chapter, you know? Next up, we have the Mannequin. Now, this one might actually be a bit of a surprise, because the Mannequin can be pretty useful, right? It reduces attacks from puppet and cat enemies by 35%. Now, this includes Spamton Neo, and in Chapter 5, if we end up fighting Friend, that would include Friend, because Friend is a cat enemy. The thing is, Spamton Neo isn't that hard. Spamton Neo is not that hard of a fight. You're not going to suffer on Spamton Neo, so you're not even going to need this Mannequin at all. I never used this Mannequin against Spamton Neo, and the Mannequin does literally nothing for your stats. All it does is give you a hidden little buff. That's literally it. It's useful for 1 fight, and the fight isn't even that crazy hard, so it's more useful than those, but that's really all it has going for it. Next up, we have the White Ribbon. The only reason the White Ribbon is so high up is because, well, it gives 2 defense, right? But it can be used to fuse into a much better item later on. It is a fusion component. That's why we're putting it up here, a bit higher than all the other slot fillers. Next up, we have the Glow Wrist. This is the Glow Wrist, right? Yes, this is the Glow Wrist. The Glow Wrist, it's the standard armor piece of Chapter 2. A better Amber card, right? It's cheap, very obtainable, 2 defense. That's really all you're getting from this thing. It can be fused later on, so it's pretty valuable, but you'll get these everywhere. I mean, it's not a rarity. You know, it's nothing too crazy. And lastly, we have the Silver card. The Silver card, you can do this at the start of a chapter for Chapter 2 and bring it into Chapter 2's Dark World, the Cyber World, and it'll be pretty useful, actually. But what it does, it allows you to fuse 2 Amber cards to make a Silver card, and that Silver card, it's 2 defense and increases your money gain by 5%. The thing is, money is not hard to get in this game. It is better than everything else in this category because of that money gain, but it's pretty useless because the money gain isn't that valuable, you know? So that's really all this thing has going for it. Yeah. What's this one? The Big Shot Bowtie. The Big Shot Bowtie. Let me go find it, actually. Big Shot Bowtie. Yeah, 2 defense, 1 magic. This is actually pretty useful. I did downplay it a bit ago. I think it's a bit too low on the list, but 2 defense, 1 magic. It's pretty outclassed by some other armors, I'll be honest. You could use it in situations where you need to Rude Buster or Red Buster, because Ralsei's Heal isn't that useful. Like, magic is really good in situations where you're going to need to use Rude Buster, because name me a time you've ever gotten use out of Ralsei's Heal, let's be honest. But yeah, this thing is kind of useless, actually. It's really obtainable because you can get multiple of them from the swatch, but that's really all it has going for it. If you're not going out of your way to get the other armors, like the one-of-a-kind armors, this is definitely useful. But other than that, this thing's not the greatest, actually. So yeah, that's what gets at the bottom of be useful. Next we have the Chainmail. This is just a raw 3 defense, I'm pretty sure. We're gonna go find it. Yeah, a raw 3 defense. I'd say it's more useful than the 2 defense, 1 magic, just because you're gonna be wanting defense more than only 1 magic. I mean, if it was 2 magic, 2 defense, then it would definitely be a lot higher on this list, but it is only 1 magic, so that's really all it has going for it. Next up, the Frayed Bowtie. We're gonna go find the Frayed Bowtie, actually. Frayed Bowtie. There it is. It is a +1 in every single stat, and it reduces the damage you take from puppet and cat enemies by 15%. So this is basically a Mannequin on steroids. You can use this, it's really good against Phantom Neo, but it also comes with a Omni stat +1. It's basically a weaker Jevils Tail, if you want me to be honest. It's a much weaker Jevils Tail because 1 is way smaller than 2. I don't think people realize how much smaller 1 is than 2. But yeah, this thing, it's actually pretty useful. You can get multiple of them for 50 to 150, so it's really cheap, really good. You get it from Spamton Shop, and it's really good against Spamton. I might actually want to put this higher. I don't know. But in any case, okay, next up we have the Ginger Guard. The Ginger Guard is a +3 in each stat. I actually would put this below the Frayed Bowtie, looking back now. Did I say every stat? I meant defense. It is a +3 in defense. That is all it does. It is basically a more obtainable version of stuff like the Chainmail. It is this chapter's standard armor piece, the one you can get on pretty much everyone, because you can buy them in bulk. It is basically Chapter 3's Glow Wrist or Amber card, right? It's not that useful. Next up, we have a more useful item, but a very, very situational item. The Blue Ribbon. The Blue Ribbon is... Actually, let me go get it, because I have a lot to say about the Blue Ribbon. Where is the Blue Ribbon? It's pretty far in, actually. Blue Ribbon. So 1 defense, 1 magic, right? And plus 12.5% to healing, right? This looks pretty good on table because Gerson fight, right? But the problem is Susie cannot wear ribbons. So this is practically useless because you're never using Ralsei's Heal. And if you're using Ralsei's Heal, you're not going to sacrifice so much stats that you could get from other items. However, I won't put it down because if Noelle comes back into the party, Noelle has Heal Prayer and Ice Shock. So this would be a pretty good armor on Noelle. That is if it doesn't get outclassed immediately in Chapter 5 or any other future chapter, which we could have Noelle. That's all I have to say about it. I'd say it's better than just a raw +3. I'd probably put it below the Frayed Bowtie looking back, but yeah, that's really all there is to say about the Blue Ribbon. Next up, we have the Wafer Guard. Wafer Guard, it's just a raw +4. It is a standard armor piece of Chapter 4. It doesn't do anything special. It is just a +4 defense. That's literally it. Next up, we're gonna get to some curious things. A Chapter 1 armor piece this high up? Are you insane? Yes, I probably am. I might put the Frayed Bowtie way up, actually, looking back. But probably not. The Iron Shackle gives you 2 defense and 2 attack. No, 2 defense and 1 attack. This is basically just a frayed bow tie, except you're taking off the magic stat for an attack stat. You would be using this on Susie. And in Chapter 4, you're not using Rude Buster Bear. You're using Rude Buster practically never. So you would probably put this on Susie over the frayed bow tie. So, and then we have next the Spiked Band, which is just the exact opposite of the Iron Shackle. 2 attack, 1 defense. Again, we have it around I have it around the same area. Because they're very similar, they do pretty much the exact same thing. Except more attack, and attack is pretty useful in Chapter 4. Because you're not using magic spells, you're just going straight in on the big guys, right? The Titan spawn and the Titan, you're just boom, boom, boom. Like, you don't need magic for any of that. Next up, we have Noelle's Silver Watch. We have Noelle's Silver Watch here. Let me go check back what it does. So I think it's listed wrong here. I feel like it's listed wrong here. I don't know why it says +1 defense like that after the +2 defense. But I think what it is it's +2 defense. We're going to ignore that +1 defense. And Graze Time. What Graze Time does is the more you graze, the shorter the turn. This is pretty bad, but it can be really useful against enemies where you just want to end the turn. You just want to get the fight done and you don't really need TP. Like a lot of the Chapter 4 enemies. The only enemies you really need TP against are enemies that defending only gives you 2 DP. You can't graze attacks because darkness constricts you. Those are the only real fights you need TP against in Chapter 4, other than Gerson. And Gerson's mechanic doesn't even require grazing. You just need to perfect block everything, which you can do by just pressing the directional input. Even if you're already facing that way, you can just press the directional input again when the arrow hits you and you get TP. Gerson, this armor is pretty useless looking forward, but in Chapter 2 it's really good because you can use this against enemies like Spamton Neo, because Spamton Neo you don't need TP against unless you're doing Snowgrave. But yeah, this is actually pretty good. Really good armor. Really good armor. Though it's definitely the bottom of this tier because, I mean, it's overall useful, but you're not going to use it that much. Next we have the Tennai. The Tennai is powerful, I will say. Let me go find it. +5 defense, -2 magic. The only reason it's so low is because there's only one character you want to put this on, and that's Chris. But otherwise, this armor against a knight can be really good and really save your ass. Because you want Chris to survive, but you don't want to give Chris the Shadow Mantle. You want to give it to Susie. For the best way to beat that fight. Sorry. But yeah, this item, it's one of a kind. And it only really works on one person, which is why it's pretty low, but +5 defense in Chapter 3 is wild. You barely see that in Chapter 4. It has a major downside though, but yeah, it's pretty good. Next we have the Tension Bow, I believe. I can barely read it. Yeah, it's the Tension Bow. So let's go find the Tension Bow. Yeah, so all it does, it raises the TP you get, and it gives you +2 defense. The +2 defense is pretty meh, but the raising TP is really good against a knight fight. And the knight is the hardest fight in the game, so it's pretty good. You get this in Chapter 2. At the end of Chapter 2, if you fuse in Castletown before going back home. And you can use this a lot in Chapter 3, because in Chapter 3, you're using TP a lot more than you are in Chapter 2. Chapter 4, I mean. Yeah, it's pretty good. The knight fight, definitely, if you have this, you could definitely use it against the knight fight and save some money. Instead of buying 2 of the better item, the Lodestone, we're going to use the Minecraft block here to represent it. But what it does, it's just a better version, isn't it? Let me go check, just in case. Yeah, it's 2 defense, and it does the exact same thing as the Tension Bow. But what I should mention is that you can obtain multiple of them, and you don't need to fuse to get it. It is just a better tension. It is just a more accessible tension bow. Like, you can get multiple of these instead of the one singular one, which requires you to go above and beyond to get it, and fuse a tension bit, which is a one-of-kind item. Yeah, the lodestone, you can just get multiple of these, which is why it's better. Next we have the Royal Pin. The Royal Pin back in Chapter 2, and even now, is really good. Let's go check out the Royal Pin. Royal Pin, yeah. It is a flat 3 defense and 1 magic. It's really expensive. You can get multiple of these, though. And you can get a free one off of Noelle before Noelle leaves your party. So, yeah, this is really good. You could probably put it on, let's say, Susie for some Rude Buster damage, because using Rude Buster against Queen to break her shield, I don't think gives you the violence thing. I don't think it breaks Berdly's arm. And that's the best way to get it done, just using Red Buster on the shield. And plus 3 defense is always really good. The plus 1 magic is really good. It just helps a lot. It's insanely good. It's a really good armor. Next. Alright, here's where stuff gets a bit messy. Right? This is the Mystic Band. The Mystic Band, let's go find it. A flat plus 4 magic, one-of-a-kind item. Now, why would it be so high? If it's just a plus 4 magic. Like, you know I don't like just plus 4s in one stat. Well, this is because you can get it before the Gerson fight. And in the Gerson fight, magic, this is, right, you can put this on Susie. Unlike the blue ribbon, you can put this on Susie. And if you're good enough at blocking, because you don't need attack stat in that fight, you can pretty much heal until you win, which is how you're supposed to do the fight. And this magic makes you heal significantly more than you would with, let's say, something else that does less magic, or something that does no magic at all, right? This does sacrifice a lot of defense and attack you don't need in the fight, but if you're good enough at blocking, this can be really good, like really good. And above it, we have the Power Band, which is the opposite. It is a plus 4, not opposite, it is different. It's a plus 4 in attack, right? See, the reason I'd say this is better is because there are attacks in Chapter 4 that force you to fight. And you're going to be using normal, because you can't gain TP that much, you're just going to be normal fighting with Susie. And with the Justice Axe, with this, on top of that, with the Justice Axe, and let's say something like the Jevils Tail, or something that also raises attack, this is going to be really, really strong. And you're going to get through the Titan pretty much in 4 turns if you have the Black Shard as well. It's really good. Next up, the Pink Ribbon. The Pink Ribbon got nerfed. I want to say that right now. Instead of doing the flat 25% graze area that it did before, or well, just 20 graze area, it was nerfed. Let's see. No, not 25 graze area. It's way higher than I thought it was. It is a 40... Let's see the Pink Ribbon. Yeah, 44% graze area, but you gain 20% less TP. You see, this would still be at the top of the game if it weren't for the nerf that makes it so you gain less TP. But you can counteract this nerf by holding lodestones, and the increased graze area, as long as you, like, in the increased graze area, just beats off the 20% loss, especially in Chapter 4, where you don't need that much TP. It's just good to have a thing that gives you TP for just playing the game, because you're not going to be hunting for TP in that chapter, because you barely need it. So yeah, this is just a pretty good item still. It's definitely really high up there. And the Twin Ribbon, it's just a bigger graze area, 56%, 56.25%. Same debuff, I think it's 25 this time though. So but it gives you plus 2 defense. So that makes it just above the Pink Ribbon right here. And next, Shadow Mantle. Shadow Mantle's actually kind of debated on as whether, it's only really good for one fight. It's kind of useless. We gotta look a little bit forward though, and just take a look at what the Shadow Mantle does and why it's so high up, right? So where would I find the Shadow Mantle? Right here. It gives you the defense based on the chapter number, which is definitely, like, you're gonna be using this in chapter 7. Like, in the final chapter, you're gonna be using this because it's gonna give you 7 defense. And it reduces damage from dark/star enemies by about 3 times, maybe even 4 times. This is the item that you practically need against a knight if you're a more casual player and don't want to rip your skull off trying to do it normally, which you can do. You can do it without the Shadow Mantle, but it's highly suggested that you do with the Shadow Mantle and put it on Susie so you can get damage in. Like, I could never do this fight without the Shadow Mantle. But the Shadow Mantle, it gets even better next chapter because now it does 4 defense and it defends you against the Titan. You can move it from Susie onto Chris, and now with the Shadow Mantle and the Black Shard, you just can't lose to the Titan. You just beat the Titan easily. And if we have more dark/star enemies, which I highly expect us to do, I highly expect a Knight rematch, maybe multiple Titans, maybe Friend, stuff like that, and it just keeps increasing in value. It is so good. It will only get better. It only gets better. Like, this armor only gets better. It never gets outclassed because it just keeps getting better. Next, we're in the final tier, the Gold Widow. Let's go check out the Gold Widow. This is where armor pieces get powerful. Right, let's check out the Gold Widow. Everything in this area can be swapped around, I will say. +1 attack, +5 defense, +1 magic, at the cost of -10 money gained. This -10 money gained can be easily counteracted by holding the Dealmaker, which you're probably going to be holding, because we haven't even got to that yet, so obviously you tie her up in this. But yeah, this stat gain is just absurd. It is a very expensive item, but it is very worth it. It is one of a kind. It is insanely powerful. I like to put this on Rousei because Rousei is like a cotton ball. It just dies to everything. And this just, it's really useful because the attack and the magic, along with the defense, like, this is just the perfect item to put on Rousei. It's just so good. It's so much stat gain and no additional cost because you're going to have the Dealmaker on someone else, preferably Susie. With this thing on Rousei, you're just beating off its debuff by buffing yourself even more than the debuff can nerf you. It's just so good, so useful, just all around good. Next we have the Dealmaker. You knew it was coming. Where's the Dealmaker? Let's go over this together, right? Where do we find the Dealmaker? Right here. +5 defense and magic. This is wildly good. If you're not using this against a knight, you're actually sabotaging yourself. The +30 money gain isn't even bad, and the puppet and cat attack debuff, it seems pretty useful at first, but what if we fight Friend in the future, who's a cat? This is going to be really good if we fight Friend sometime. And even ignoring that, the defense gain and the magic gain, you practically need this armor. Like, not an understatement, you need this armor. It is so good, so all around good. The magic gain can, in chapter 3, like anywhere you're using Rude Buster, which probably won't be chapter 4, but maybe chapter 5, this thing is never losing value. It is so good. Now, let's move on to the Princess Ribbon. The Princess Ribbon, I just mentioned. The Gold Widow, you're putting on Rousei. The Dealmaker, you're putting on Susie. The Princess Ribbon, well, process of elimination, you're putting on Chris. 2 attack, 4 defense, and you're losing nothing. Let me say that again. 2 attack, 4 defense, you're losing nothing. And it gives you little elegance if you want to have the non-binary swag. Like, it's just good. You don't need magic on Chris, so you're not losing out on anything by putting this on Chris. You're only getting attack, which the Black Shard favors. Stacking this with the Black Shard, and even like the Shadow Mantle, right? You have the Shadow Mantle and the Black Shard on this, your Chris is unbeatable. You are slaying the Titan in like 4 turns. As I mentioned before, it's just so good. And you can't put it on Susie. If you could put it on Susie, I would consider it, but you cannot put it on Susie. It is a ribbon. Which just makes it even better on Chris, because who else are you going to put it on? You're going to put an attack boost on Rouse? Please. And finally, I mean, I'm a ride or die for this item. The Jevils Tail. It is, I don't need to explain it, but we'll go to it. Because I feel like some people love to underplay this item, which is absurd to me. It is so absurd that people think this item sucks. Let's find it. Jevils Tail. The Jevils Tail. You get it in Chapter 1. So you're going to be using it from the king fight all the way to the end of the game. So usefulness, check. You're going to have it the whole game pretty much, because the first chapter is short as a bitch. Right? You're going to have this thing for the whole game. It is a Omni +2 in every stat. I can't stress how good this is. Because Rude Buster, if you ever need Rude Buster, you're going to have this. Normal attacks, if you ever need that, you're going to have it. Defense, if you ever need it, you're going to have it. This is better than every Chapter 2 item by a long shot. Maybe even Chapter 3's items by a long shot. And it even matches or comes close to Chapter 4 items. Holy shit. Like, I could probably see this thing getting somehow outclassed in Chapter 5 if we get a +3 in every stat. But, like, +2 in every stat. I need people to not underplay this item. It is so good. Because people forget that magic and attack. Like, people, when they wear armors, they're like, oh, yeah, all I care about is the defense. You need to think of, like, actual builds, right? Attack and magic. Putting that on something like a Dealmaker Jevils Tail Justice Axe build, your Rude Busters are going to hit like freight trains. Your attacks, your just normal axe attacks are going to hit like freight trains. You can put this on Rouse too if you want a DPS build with the Puppet Scarf, which you probably shouldn't do. But if you want that, you got it. This thing is so good, it can be put on everyone. It is just the overall best armor in the game. I mean, like, you could probably argue maybe one of the 3 armors with it as better than it. I wouldn't fight you. But saying it's anywhere below them, saying it's anywhere below the top 4 is straight delusion. I just want to say that. It is so good. Like, you might see 2 say, oh, that's low. It is not low. It's not low at all. You have no idea. You're not getting any better builds than you are with a Jevils Tail on it. Unless you're Chris. If you're Susie or Rouse, your builds are not being beaten by anything other than a Jevils Tail. Like, I just need to stress that. The Devil's Knife, you could get the Devil's Knife, but then you don't have the Jevils Tail. And then you end up putting on the Justice Axe and having a useless knife in your inventory that does nothing. So I'd say the Jevils Tail is the best armor in the game. It can be put on everyone. It is an Omni +2. The only way something's beating this is if it's an Omni +3, or if it's like a +6 or 7 in a stat with additional buffs to other stats. That's the only way this is getting beat in Chapter 5 by me. But other than that, yeah, that's my tier list. Thanks for watching. Bye.